chances are you're making bad decisions. And just like me, I was making a lot of bad decisions too. I'm Aaron Ware, and I've grown my business from $500,000 to $20 million in under 3 years. And here's the reason why. They did a study on these surgeons and realized that the surgeons in the morning were very, very good. They were saving lives, but towards the end of their shift, they made a lot of mistakes. And the study showed that they were making too many bad decisions. They started to call it decision fatigue. And the same thing can happen to you. I remember I would wake up every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd have the phone start ringing. I'd have installers calling me, technicians ringing me. I'd be answering questions, putting out fires. Then I'd get to work, and then I'd have all my admin stuff, my accountant asking me questions, my head installers, my managers asking me questions, where I was always forced to make a decision. And I remember I'd come home and I'd physically be drained. I'd physically be fatigued. And the reason is there's an actual condition called decision fatigue. You only get X amount of good decisions to make every day. And if you start to look at anyone successful in their lives, you'll start to notice little clues. Mark Zuckerberg, anyone else famous like that, you'll start to notice they only wear the exact same clothes every day. They probably eat the exact same foods every day. They have a routine and that's it. The second you wake up, you should have your day already mapped out from the day before. You don't want to wake up and be trying to figure out, what type of socks am I going to wear? What type of shirt am I going to wear? What am I going to have for breakfast? Which fuel station am I going to stop at to get fuel? These are all micro decisions that you're making that all add up at the end of the day and are causing you fatigue and making you to choose the wrong decision. I would wake up the exact same day and I'd already be struggling with decisions by about lunchtime. I've already burnt out, I've already used my good decisions. People would be coming into my office asking me things and I'd just be like, I don't know, and I'd just quickly say one thing or just quickly ramble something to get them out of my office, and I'd be up at night thinking, why did I make that decision? Why did I do that? So there's a shortcut to this. Don't start your day until you have it finished on paper. Always have the next day mapped out, ready to go, time block. You got your details in there, your meetings, your appointments, your emails. Have it all mapped out before you start your day. That way, that's another less decision you need to make, having it all mapped out, diary plans, having the food that you're gonna eat that day mapped out, the clothes that you're gonna wear, the people you're gonna see, it's all mapped out. So when you are in those situations where random things do pop up, we are in the trades business, I get it, things go wrong, you're ready to answer those questions and put those fires out without any fatigue, and you know you can go to bed that night knowing you made the right decision.